Hi everybody, my name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food on all those social media places. Well, here we are. So, Blue Moon. Wow, it was a wild weekend. Lots of people acting blue moonish. I loved every minute of it. Felt it a little myself. I did good with my food this weekend. I hope that you people did too. It is Monday, but we hope it's not a messy Monday. Because we don't want to go into the warm, less clothing season, struggling with too much of a good thing, and wishing we had started something the 1st of May instead of the end of May, right? So Oscar Wilde said, everything in moderation, including moderation, is good, right? So that is totally correct. Now, the thing about moderation is that if moderation worked for us 15 diets ago, 15 food plans ago, 15 minutes ago, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But alas, we are having this conversation because we need another comma after his saying, if we are a card-carrying pickle member, which means you're an addict. You are a food addict. Because we don't know moderation. We didn't get that gene in our DNA. We only got more, never enough, seconds, thirds, give me some, talking heads, talking food, talking chocolates in the dish at work, all that stuff. The 24/7 total obsession with food. So boo-hoo for us, we don't get that option of just eating, I hate that word, normally, in moderation. Lord knows we've tried. We have tried. We have tried, and I know I have tried, and usually what I do when I think I can eat in moderation, when I think that, I'm no longer a pickle, that I've gone back to being a cucumber and I can eat in moderation, it'll start with a dessert. It'll start with a dessert on Monday. And then I'll just have a little dessert on Tuesday. And then I'll have a dessert on Wednesday. And then it's kind of going bad, getting stale, getting dry. So I'll have, I'm home on Thursday, so I'll have it for lunch, and then I'll just finish it up for dinner. You know that thing when you get to the bottom of the quart of the ice cream, how much fun it is to just sit there with a long spoon and just dive into it and finish up that carton. So it's almost soft, it's almost falling apart because it's kind of papery and the wax has gotten like melty. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. That's my idea of moderation. Goodbye quart in 3 days. You know what I'm saying? So we can't do that. We didn't get the right to eat in moderation, which is why we end up doing things like Smart Points, which is why we end up at places like Overeaters Anonymous, which is why I end up tracking my food every single day, weighing myself once or twice a week, just to keep it all in order. It's just how it goes. Some people are born skinny, stay skinny, never understand our dilemma. Some people are to the manor born and never have to worry a day, whether they can heat their house or put meat on the table or get the brakes on their car like the mechanic said they needed. Some of us didn't get that card where we can just put it on our credit card and it gets paid off at the end of the month. So we all have our burdens. We all have the yokes around our neck. Sometimes they're invisible. Sometimes they're very obvious, especially if we have weight to lose. So we can't eat in moderation. And getting to that place of acceptance, I don't know if you go to Weight Watchers meetings and you have one of those fabulous leaders that talks emotions as well as practical stuff, you're very lucky. If not, and you end up bouncing, and you depend on the online things, on the podcasts, that's what I do. And I rely heavily on what I hear. Sometimes I'm listening to researchers, sometimes PhDs, sometimes scientists with the whole thing, with sometimes people that uncover chemicals in our food, things like, the food manufacturers, what they're duping us with and hoping that we don't figure it out, things like that. So I know that I'm a pickle. I know that I cannot eat a lot in safety. I have to have pretty much contained foods that have been put into my tracker, that are weighed and measured before I can enjoy them. I cannot sit down at a table and say, yeah, I'll have some of that. No, I don't think I want more of that. Gee, gosh, could I have seconds of that? I don't have that card. I tried that card. Trust me, the account was closed a long time ago on that. So moderation, if moderation was something that I could do, I'd drink in moderation, I'd eat in moderation, I'd spend money in moderation. But alas, I learned with alcohol as I learned with food. And first I learned with food that I could not eat in moderation. So Oscar, even though you're absolutely right, for most of us here, we have a problem with what our idea of moderation is. We don't have a full button. We don't have an off switch. We don't have a lot of those things that it seems apparent that other people might have. Or maybe they're not in touch with it yet and they're just eating with abandon and don't care. And every extra pound they put on, we kind of look at them with discernment and say, one day you're going to regret all of that. But for the time being, they're getting away with it. Denial is a powerful thing. So there are a few of us here that have surrendered to a 12-step program for food, and it has helped a lot of us. And you can go as deep with it as you want to get. I did, I have, and I continue to do that because I know that if I'm out of control with my food, there is no happy ending to my meal or my day, and I can't let that happen. I can't. It's like my food is like my whole food program, and my soul, the whole package here is like sometimes a mousetrap on that spring, and if it gets tripped, wow, it's going to get me. So I have to be ever vigilant. And even in Weight Watchers and other places, you do have to be ever vigilant. Some people just do calories. It's whatever works for you, as long as it's working. But if you're struggling and something's not working, please don't stay with it and say, I've just got to tough it out. Like those skin people at fancy department stores that sell you hundreds of dollars worth of stuff, and you go back 2 days later with this rash all over your face, and they say, oh no, that has to work its way out. Those are the impurities. Right. If it's not working, you're the only one that's really going to know that. Maybe with your scale, maybe your scale will tell you it's not working. But if it's not working, work hard to find something that is. It could be smaller portions, it could be weighed and measured only, it could be calories, it could be macros, it could be smart points, it could even be Nutrisystems or Jenny Craig, where it comes in a box. And that's the way that you have to eat it at first to get the discipline. Or it could be the spiritual, mental, and physical work through a 12-step program like Overeaters Anonymous. Then there's TOPS, T-O-P-S, Take Off Pounds Sensibly. Those are usually held at churches too. I've never been to one of those. But it's wherever you can go that you're going to get support. Or maybe it's just here and other places on Facebook and YouTube where you get all your information and you're able to be successful. Because if this isn't this is never in moderation. This is a hamster wheel for sure, 24/7. If this isn't contained, isn't at peace, isn't content, isn't doing something to make it kind of peaceful, then the rest of it's going to be off. And I don't want to be off. There's nothing tougher than doing an off day when you have to work, when you have to leave your problems at the door and go in and be a professional and do your job if your head is all skewered because you're crazy about your food. So you don't want to have that happen. You want to find the place that's the soft place to land, but it's got a tough program that keeps you sane, because overeating makes me insane. Not tracking, not measuring, not knowing what's coming up next makes me insane. And so maybe you're a little bit like me and you have to be careful. So this is the place to be, because we deal with all of it. We deal with the real deal, the real food, but the real emotions and the work that goes with it to make it all work. And guess what? It can, and it does, and it will. And it might for you too, if you just trust the process. It has worked for us. Trust those that it works for. If you can't believe in yourself, believe in the people that are showing you that it can work, because that's how you will be successful. This has been Sarah. No messy Mondays in May for us. Have a wonderful day. We wish we could be Oscar, but alas, we aren't. Goodbye, my pickles.